Well, Paul, you've achieved your first goal and reached the top 6. What's your goals between now and the end of the season?
See where we end up. Win as many games as we can. That'll not change, but the important thing for me was it's against all the top teams, the ones who's been performing the best this season. So it'll give us a really good indication of where we are going into a new season next year. We've performed really well up to this point in terms of collecting points. There's areas where we want to get better, 100%. But things have been good. But if you're naive enough to think that's it, job done. So this will give a good indication of where we can improve further these next 5 games.
How far down the line are you with plans for next season with regards to players coming in and retaining some of the current squad?
Yeah, as far as you can be, because you can't do anything until the window opens. But several areas where we want to, or we've got the option to improve. They might be filled from players in the building, development squad players who's out of contract, renegotiating if they want to stay. Or likewise, the best alternative might be someone else at a different club. So that's ongoing, trying to whittle it right down to a point where we can do something about it.
Do you have a group of players and a list of players in mind where obviously your contacts down south, you will know which players may or may not be available?
Yeah, we've got lots. This club's got a recruitment department that's worked really hard. Obviously I've come in now and you want to give it direction to where you want to make it go. So in that respect, this window will be the hardest, because the more hours we put into it, the more work we put into it, the more work we can get so everyone's on the same page. Windows coming up then afterwards should be easier. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of hard work between now and the window closing.
Mark McNulty's been almost a never present in the side since he came up. He's on loan. He's still got 3 years, I think, left at Reading. Has there been any talks with the possibility of extending that, or you just need to wait and see what happens with Reading, because I think they're still involved?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of them that scenario will change game on game. However well he's playing, however many goals he's scored, how well he's doing for us, what's happening at Reading, what league they're in, and there's loads of financial implications one way or the other. But the one thing I've got in my mind is we want to push Sparky to as well as he possibly can, but while we're doing that, we may be putting him out of our price range. But that's just the way it goes when you take players on loan. You can get the benefits of it is you can get players in who maybe you couldn't necessarily afford. The downside of it is if you do a real good job with them, you're probably not going to keep them. And that's just how it is with loan players. We'll probably have loan players next season, and hopefully if we do his job properly, get in exactly the same situation.
Fair to say though, if the possibility was there, you would want to keep them?
Yeah, definitely. But as I say, there's so many different variables to that we'll not know until the end of the season, because he's not our player. So regardless, if I'm sat here telling you 100% I want to keep him, Sparky's sat here saying 100% I want to stay, there's still Reading involved in that.
What about the players who are Hibernian players at the moment but are out of contract? David Gray and these guys, for example, what's the situation there?
There's lots we've got, and that's where we have to be careful, because that is the only scope I've sort of got to free up money to bring players in next year. So that'll go down to the death, down to the wire. If we feel like we can get a player in who's better from elsewhere, then we've got to do it. We're foolish not to. But you can also get blinkered and forget what you've got in the building. Like I say, you've had me sat here many times saying how well the players have done, and I mean that. So we've had lots of good work in here since we've got here. Not just good work in terms of results, but an application, an appetite from the players, which is really important. So we can't throw all that away, 100%.
These 5 games you have, they could end up with a European spot. Is that an incentive then when you go to players, whether it be players that are still here or whether it's players who you want to bring in, as a carrot to say to them, look, we've got European football, do you want to come and join us and play in it? Yeah,
definitely. It's one of the reasons I came up, wanting to chase that. There's lots of ways to impress a player. One is by the type of football you play, the role that you're selling out to. Look, this is where we see you, this is where you fit into our team, this is how we make you better. These are the games you're going to play in. So anyone watching us now who maybe thinks that they've got a chance of coming to us will be watching us play Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, another Edinburgh derby, and that's the games we want to be involved in. So yeah, you're foolish not to use them opportunities. So we want to get in Europe for us, but there is a knock-on effect, like you've just said.
You take on the team on Sunday, the only team that have beaten you since you came here. They have a chance potentially to win a title on Sunday as well. Does that come into your train of thought anywhere, or is it just simply doesn't matter if Celtic is just winning the game?
Just winning a game. It doesn't matter about Celtic in terms of what they're playing for. It matters about them in terms of what we're playing against. Because yeah, we played well against them at home. They played better. You know, we restricted them to the least opportunities of adding a game this season. They did the same to us. So we have to be better. You know, I'm expecting Celtic to be better than that. As I said, the finish line's in sight for them. So in terms of that, you're saying you're never going to play them when they're more hungry, and you're not. But that's what we want. So it'll make for a good game. We've got to be even better than last time to beat them.
Neil said on Sunday, the game against Aberdeen, that was the best performance. Did you watch the game, and what did you make of yourself?
No, and as soon as they had a man sent off, I lost interest, because I don't want to be getting a man sent off after half hour. So yeah, I didn't pay any attention after that.
Why was that? What was in it?
Because we're starting with 11 men, not 10, so it makes no difference to me. Once we went to 10 men, there's no point in watching it.
Because that changes the dynamics.
Yeah, and everything I'm seeing is not what we're going to see today. If we go down 10 men, we know how we play. It's different to Aberdeen.
With that, how do you feel from fans' perspective? I mean, are you getting a sense now that you've gone through top teams in the league? You said you came here, you played them, you got good results against them, bar Celtic in the cup. Are you getting a sense of what it's like for the fans whenever you're playing against these top teams, and how it could be on Sunday if Celtic are lifting the title on your home patch?
What our fans feel about that? Yeah, listen, I remember we'd had a good season ourselves at Barnsley, went to Newcastle last game of the season, and they had to win to cement the league and to beat us, and we'd had a good season ourselves, but it's still horrible. So I don't want, you're just jealous then. So yeah, I don't want that happening, regardless from a purely selfish point of view. You might not see me after a game if that happens, so yeah, it's not something I want to be doing.
So we'll follow you down the tunnel afterwards. What have you learned since that cup defeat?
About the players? Yeah, so, well, game on game, the players have been doing well. Even in that cup defeat, as I said, we executed something really, really well, but weren't good enough to hurt Celtic. That was it. We need to do the same, but be good enough to hurt them this game. That's it. Game on game, the players have impressed me with their attitude and application. We've had to change things in lots of games, and they've given 100% to do it. And while ever they're doing that, that's brilliant. That's all you can ask for. Because you're getting good feedback as well. If they're trying 100% to do it and it's not working, then I'm thinking I've got that wrong. So it's been really good to work with them, and for them to get the plaudits and the pat on the back.
And when you're speaking to the guys in the build up to these weeks, especially given a European spot is on the line, how much is that place, kind of at the forefront? I mean, it's always good to get the victory, obviously, but when there's so much at stake now.
Yeah, it's strange, because you sit 6 points behind if you like a possibility. Really, you need to be aiming for third to make sure, but you're 6 points behind the possibility. There's only 5 games left. Really, you've got no chance, but because of the way the game is and it's split and the teams you're playing, it's easy for a team in our top 6 to not pick up any points really in this running, and you have to hope that that's one of the teams above you and you're one of the teams taking advantage of that. But even that gets harder, because every team you're playing is above you, barring obviously Hearts, which is a derby itself. So that's why it's in the balance, and that's why it's still hard to play for.
How close is Ryan Gold to making a comeback?
Well, he's looked well in training now. We've had 2 60 minutes out of him in the development games. He's been nursed back in, and now he looks to the point where he trusts himself, he feels ready, he's training at a good level. So yeah, it's just a case of him now getting back in the squad, and everything he does is just to get in the team now.
Obviously, you mentioned Gold there, and like Heckingbottom's been playing minutes, and Whittaker got 60 minutes as well. Has it been a silver lining having the week off to get extra minutes for them on the pitch, or would you have preferred a game last week to keep the momentum going, especially after?
Yeah, I'd have preferred a game. It's a strange one because international breaks, when you miss a game, you generally have players away and it's a different feel. We've had everyone here, so we've been able to work with the players, which is good. But it's, well, for me personally, it's dragged. You know, I'd have rather had a game and played. But the flip side of that is we've got more minutes into more players. So Darnell and Jonathan as well have had another 90 minutes, plus 2 weeks training like the rest of them. So everyone's closer and everyone's at a level where I think fitness-wise, probably if I needed to use them, I'd be able to use them.
Another player we saw on the grass today was Martin Boyle, first time in a long time. Is there any chance of getting him in before the end of the season, or is it just sort of getting him back?
Get him back when he's back, so he's, you know, fit and flying for the start of next season. That'd be nice.
No injury doubts at all this weekend? Everybody fit?
Yeah. So yeah, as it stands right now, everyone's okay.